Shane, here we are. We're going to week 7. We had some good games here in our state rankings as far as both Class 1A and 2A. I mean, basically, if you look at what our panel was last week compared to this week, our entire 2A top 10 actually won. But we did see quite a few losses in our Class 1A panel. I mean, if you look at even going through the top 20, there's 6 teams that lost in the top 20. And even in 2A, there were 4 teams that lost as well.
Right. I mean, 2A, how often do you see your top 10 teams in your panel not lose? I mean, that makes our job pretty easy on picking the same teams every week. So, yeah, 1A had a couple losses and then even more in the 11 through 20 area. But I'm excited to see what your picks are this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll be surprised. I did make a couple changes based off of competition. And I think that the viewers will notice that our panel did shift. Even though 2A had all victories in the top 10, no team fell out of our top 10 in either panel.
Right.
But in 2A and even in 1A, I mean, 1A had some losses, so obviously there was some shifting.
Right.
But despite not having any losses in the 2A top 10, there was still some shifting that took place due to strength of schedule.
And rightfully so. I mean, how many times haven't we seen over the years where, well, if nothing, no team lost, we can't change it up. I mean, that's crap.
It is crap.
I mean, we pride on ourselves on our picks because we take in the strength of schedule, scores. I mean,
who's beating who?
Things that have transpired. I mean, little things here and there that you wouldn't normally think of. So, you know, our top 10, I'll put it up against anybody's.
You know, and that's just it. I mean, I sat here in an argument earlier today about rankings don't mean crap and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? When I do my rankings, I'm ranking what I feel are the top 10 teams. I don't care what their records are.
Right.
I'm looking at the top 10 teams that have the best potential of going the furthest in the playoffs, and that's what I focus on.
Right, and I think you'll see that in our panel on 1A is a team that has a couple losses that is still there in the top 10 teams because we feel they're a top 10 team.
Right, and I mean, you'll see, I think you'll see 1 and 2A as well. So we'll get to our state rankings coming up right now. Shane, we're going to start in 1A where we normally always do, since the majority of our schools play in Class 1A, obviously. And I'll go ahead and start off with what I feel my top 10 state rankings are. At number 1, I did stick with Lena Winslow as they moved to 6-0. Coming in at number 2 for myself, I have the Forreston Cardinals as they improved to 5-1. At number 3, I moved up Brown County as they also improved to 6-0 on the year. And my biggest mover of the week is at number 4 with Red Hill, as I moved them up to number 4 and they improved to 6-0. Moving up another spot is Marquette. They get back into my top 5 after they improved to 5-1. And at number 6, I have Carrollton, as they also moved to 6-0, but I'm kind of interested in what they have coming up here. Number 7, I have Anawan Wethersfield, as they also moved to 5-1. And at number 8, coming in with a big loss this week, unfortunately.
Huge.
Athens. But still, obviously, in the top 10, they're at 5-1. And then another team with another big loss coming in at number 9 is Fulton, as they do drop to 4-2. But I still think they're going to be a team to reckon with in the 1A North playoffs. And rounding out my top 10 is another team with a very close loss to Anawan Wethersfield, and that is Princeville, as they drop to 5-1 on the year.
Very nice. Looking at your top 10 and mine, we have all the same teams except one, so I guess I'm not too far of an idiot this week. So, number 1, once again, Forreston Cardinals, followed by Lena Winslow. There's no, I mean, obviously Lena Winslow's ranked ahead of them because they won head-to-head. I just feel Forreston is the better team at this point. Brown County followed with number 3, and Marquette at the number 4 spot. Carrollton at 5. Your Red Hill at 6.
Yeah.
Anawan Wethersfield at 7. Athens at 8. Like you said, I mean, just a butt kicking. Be interesting to see how they rebound this week. Followed by number 9, Decatur Lutheran, which is the team you didn't have. And number 10, Fulton, staying in at 4-2. You know, you're just looking at competition realistically. So here we are.
Well, and you look at Fulton, missing quarterback, missing running back, two key cogs. A lot of 1A teams, you miss two of those guys, you're as good as done.
And I mean, it came to Orion, so
right.
Orion is a darn good team.
Orion's a good team. They're ranked in Class 2A, at least in as far as receiving votes, and they're 5-1 on the year. And I think you'll see that when we get to our 2A poll as well. Speaking of our panel vote, it's going to go as such. At number 1, we have Lena Winslow, as they beat Amboy 54-0. At number 2 is Forreston with their 5-1 record after they beat East Dubuque 40-7. Number 3 is Brown County. They improved to 6-0 with their 34-20 win over Triopia. And coming at number 4 is WIBC rival in the South, Carrolltons. They improved to 6-0 as they beat Pleasant Hill 38-20. At number 5 is Red Hill as they beat 3A Marshall 32-6 to improve to 6-0. And at number 6 are the Crusaders of Marquette with their 56-0 win over Rockford Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. Number 7 is Athens, where they dropped 2 after that beatdown they got from Maroa Forsyth 56-15. Keep in mind Maroa Forsyth is ranked number 8 in Class 2A. And at number 8 is Anawan Wethersfield as they beat Princeville, who was also in our number 10 spot last week, 14-6. Dropping to number 9 is Fulton as they lost to Class 2A number 11 ranked Orion 42-0. And at number 10 is Princeville as they lost to Anawan Wethersfield but remain in that top 10 spot. Other teams receiving votes at number 11 is Dakota at 5-1 with their 10-8 win over West Carroll. Number 12, Decatur Lutheran, 5-1 after they lost to Arcole at 20-14. And number 13 is Aquin as they move to 5-1 with their win over Orangeville 27-6. Number 14, Warrensburg Latham with their record at 3-3. They lost to Tuscola 34-18, and number 15 is Argenta Oriana as they improved to 5-1 with their 54-14 win over Cerro Gordo. Shane, we're moving into Class 2A here, and go ahead and start at number 1. I have Sterling Newman as they move to 6-0. Amazing.
Shocker.
They've been number 1 all year long for myself.
Yep.
And number 2 is my biggest mover of the week. I have Aurora Christian coming up. Despite their 4-2 record, if you look at their 2 losses, they lost to Brother Rice, who is a Class 8A school, and they lost to Chicago De La Salle, a Class 6A school. Both those teams have great shots of obviously making the playoffs in their respective classes, and I don't see any other team in Class 2A that plays that type of competition, outside of maybe Chicago.
You're just really riding that Bishop Matt Lynn hard.
Woo, man, that was a huge
Gotta
win.
love that Catholic
Good
league.
God. All right, at number 3, I have West Hancock as they improved to 6-0, and at number 4, Gibson City Melvin Sibley. They still are impressing me. They are 6-0. Number 5, Rockridge. Their only blemish on the year was that 1-point loss 2 weeks ago to Sterling Newman. They improved to 5-1. Number 6, Tuscola. The Warriors keep riding their undefeated season as they improve to 6-0, and most likely should ride that out to a perfect 9-0 record. At number 7, I have Shelbyville. They also only have 1 loss to the previously mentioned Tuscola Warriors. At number 8, Maroa, as they are starting to get things churning. They just derailed, obviously, Athens, who was ranked very high in Class 1A by 40 points.
Sad. Stupidly beat them.
Yeah. At number 9, another team that we're familiar with, Tri-Valley, as they improved to 5-1. And at number 10, I brought in the Orion Chargers as they improved to 5-1 after they just destroyed Fulton 42-0.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. Our 10 kind of didn't lose, but we sure had a lot of movement, and rightfully so, I believe. My number 1 team, again, obviously Sterling Newman, followed by West Hancock at number 2, GCMS at number 3, and Rockridge number 4. Been my 4 teams for a couple weeks now.
Right.
Followed by Tuscola 5, Westville 6, Maroa Forsyth, like you said, just starting to really churn here at number 7. Shelbyville at 8. Aurora Christian at 9. Yeah, I mean, we're talking here. I pray to God that it doesn't turn into a EIC 2A run over like it was a couple years ago. I mean, that's not good for anybody unless you're Aurora Christian. So followed by Tri-Valley at number 10. I'm kind of gonna get pissed off about it, this whole thing that happens at least once every 3 years. A team slips down and kind of runs the table.
Unfortunately, they're still under the multiplier. So,
right.
I mean, this is a school that if they don't win a playoff game this year, they're going into 1A next year.
Right.
Because that'll be 4 straight years.
But I don't think we have to worry about that.
No, they have a highly talented team.
Obviously. To be honest, it's going to come down to when that Aurora Christian Newman matchup is.
Right.
So
I think that's going to be round 1.
Right. So, fun stuff.
Yep. So here's our panel for Class 2A. Number 1 is Sterling Newman. They are 6-0. They beat Bureau Valley 55-6. Number 2, West Hancock, as they beat Macomb 68-20. Number 3 is Gibson City Melvin Sibley, as they beat Tremont 49-0. And at number 4 is Rockridge. As we said, they improved to 5-1 with a 40-21 win over Peru St. Bede. Number 5 is Tuscola with their 34-18 win over previously number 12 in Class 1A in our rankings, Warrensburg Latham. And at number 6 is Westville, as they improved to 6-0 with that 56-13 win over Oakwood. Number 7 sees Shelbyville, as the Rams come in with the 5-1 mark after they beat Macon Meridian 44-7. And the Trojans of Moreau Forsyth, as they beat Athens 56-15. Athens was our number 3 ranked team in Class 1A last week. Number 9, Aurora Christian. They beat 3A Bishop McNamara 55-28. And number 10, Tri-Valley, as they beat El Paso Gridley 49-13. Our honorable mention, number 11, Orion, is with like we said, that 42-0 win over Fulton. Number 12 is EPC, as they beat Galena 40-0. Number 13, El Dorado, as they beat Christopher Ziegler Royal 54-6. Number 14, West Carroll. They're 4-2 after they lost to Dakota 10-8. And number 15, Chicago Hope, as they lost to Providence Catholic 56-14. All right, Shane, we're going to our NUIC Power 5. I'll go ahead and get this kicked off here. At number 1, I have Lena Winslow, as they improved to 5-0. No sense in turning back. They beat whoever it was 54-0. Amboy.
Amboy.
That's right, that guy. Number 2, Forreston. They are 5-1. Number 3, EPC at 4-2, and they got a big game this week with West Carroll. At number 4, I have the Aquin Bulldogs, as they once again got back on the winning ways, took care of business with Orangeville. They improved to 5-1. And new to my top Power 5 is Dakota. After that big win in the Northwest game of the week against West Carroll, they improved to 5-1.
Yep, good picks, Kyle. My number 1, Forreston, followed by Lena Winslow. EPC at 3, Dakota 4, Aquin 5.
So same 5 teams, different roll around. But I think our Power 5 panel is going to be a little bit different. Last week we had Milledgeville in the top 5. Will they remain in our top 5 this week? We're about to find out. So with that panel vote, number 1 is Lena Winslow, as expected, where they've carried that spot since they beat Forreston back in week 2. At number 2 is Forreston. At number 3, EPC. Last week they were number 4. They moved up to number 3. At number 4, the Missiles do come in. They move up a spot to that 4th spot. And at number 5, we actually had a tie in all areas between Dakota and Aquin. So they will share our Power 5, number 5 spot this week. All right, Shane, so that's a look at where we're at with our state rankings, both Class 1A and 2A, and our NUIC Power 5. We did see a little bit of shuffling around like we anticipated. Even in the Power 5, a little bit of movement there. EPC moves back up in that 3 spot, while surprisingly, Milledgeville moves into the 4 spot. And then, of course, we have our first tie of the year with Dakota and Aquin in the Power 5 at that 5th spot. So rightfully so. I mean, if you look outside of EPC, everybody's 5-1 or 6-0, and EPC comes in with that 4-2 mark, but deservedly so at that number 3 spot, I believe, especially with where I have them predicted to finish. So, and I believe you're feeling the same way as I am. So, but should be interesting. This week we should see a more clear outlook as far as the playoffs are concerned. Get us a better playoff picture going forward. So that'll be great to get that going, and we'll have that out to you as soon as we go through and do those predictions. Probably around Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have that out for you. But until then, have a great week. We'll see you next Friday. As always, root for the NUIC.